What's up, everybody? See if anybody comes in here. I could listen to a song like Harold does while everybody's coming in, but I'm not that cool. So we'll just like that was a delayed reaction on the notification, so it'll be like 5 minutes before everybody gets in here. So maybe I should listen to a song. CPAP, what's up? Jonathan Wheeler, Easy and Sons. Sean Price, what's up? Man, it's been kind of a long day today, kind of. It started early. I started at 4 this morning. So I get to customer by 5. Trucker T, what's up? Ryan Nickerson. Okay, so you guys probably wonder about the title, Daniel Adami. So, I'm here at exit 88. This is one of those days where I ran out of time before I could get home. So, I'm here at exit 88, and there's a McDonald's with truck parking here, right? And, hey Philip, and about a month ago, hey Kevin, about a month ago, there were 2 hitchhiker dudes that were passing through. And they were at this McDonald's here. Yep, easy. And they got into a fight, and one of them stabbed the other and killed him. So that's kind of crazy. And I had forgotten all about that until I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, she's like, where are you at? And I told her, and she's like, oh, hope you don't get stabbed. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, hey Jeff, what's up? Hey Jeff, I really liked your, okay, so Jeff was talking some truth. Well, he's always talking truth, but he was talking some truth in my world. Last week, I had a really good week. And my net, let's see, if I do the math, I'm not going to give you guys exact numbers because that's none of your business. But, let's see, my gross. My gross was only $873 over my net. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You know, when I first started, I took that load to Florida after my first week, and I got a call from Jeff and Gear Grabber, and they're like, so maybe you ought to work on that short haul game. You know, they don't care what I do, but Jeff speaks a lot of shit. He's always been about the short game. He's always been about the short game. And sometimes it works. Sometimes the mid-haul's a little bit better. But for the most part, I was never more than 500 miles away from the house. And I had a really good week. So let's go over the comments here. Stu Manchu, David Boggs. No exact Humbers with what unsubscribed Screaming Demon. So when I was younger, I saw 2 dudes fighting over a girl. Oh yeah. Ouch, Edward. Yeah, so now you have to do what the market dictates as well. We've all done longer runs. However, my average rate per mile was considerably higher this past week. So, but like I said, I only had $800 this week in fuel costs. And I had like 3 like heavy loads. The problem, okay, Trucker T says short does make better money. Sometimes the problem, like here's what I ran into. Sometimes the short game can bite you in the butt, because I was picking loads that I had some bad luck on, that just a couple that it took all day to load and unload. You know, it wasn't straight through. And this load could have been straight through. I called the customer and they're like, no, we have to unload you tomorrow. I'm like, all right, no problem. So I spent an extra hour and got the truck washed. If you follow me on Facebook, you've seen that. And that was nice to do because it's been needing it for a while. Although my paint is starting to peel on the front of the truck. So I don't want to get too crazy with the truck washes. I need to buy some touch-up paint, or it's just going to get worse. I just checked the trucking office. I have the numbers. Is lunch in the future to stop a reactor leak? No idea what you're talking about, Jeff. Screaming you. It all depends on the load and how things are those in freight lanes. It's like anything there is, it's always good and bad. Right, so many short loads have late pickup times, expected to deliver next morning. Not a big fan of that. Well, here's what I found, CPAP. That's a good point. Like, I see a lot of loads in my area that are like 500, 525, 550 miles, something like that. And they barely give you enough time to get there. Like, they load at 1 and you know it takes a couple hours, and they want you there by 6 a.m. the next morning. So in order to combat that, what I decided to do is, if I do something like that, it's got to be an open window. Like the loads to Kentucky that I did, it was an open window, first come, first serve on both ends. But the other way I combated that was that I was picking only 200 and 300 mile stuff that was paying almost about the same. So that's a lot more doable. Like this week, you know, especially now, my hours are kind of limited right now, and I'm not really gaining that whole bunch, but so I'm really watching my hours. So, and I had kind of a decent breakthrough with my business with a local broker / company that I might be doing a lot of work for. So that might be cool, but I'm not going to announce that till I actually do something. They offered me a couple of things yesterday, but I didn't want to do them. So Archie says staying 500 miles close to home has worked for me. Pale Rider TV, what's up? Snorler, you also have to look at the net per day on the short game for the 100, 200 mile loads that pick up one day, deliver the next. Right. Yeah, I agree, Jeff. Like, for example, and I think this is what Jeff's kind of talked about. If I do a load, let's say from Springfield to Florida, I did that one time, Ocala, Florida, it was $2,800, okay? I spent, after fuel and my percentage and the deadhead coming out of there and the time it took to do all that, I could have done 3 short loads and netted a lot more. There's Florida is quick, easy, not easy, but it's quick money. And that was the point Jeff had made to me. I mean, that's why he went out of his way to get the Missouri Intrastate, just so I could take advantage of that. And I have. And I've lived in this area for the last 30 years, and I know I've been trucking for 10, and it's all been based out of here. You know, it's been for, this is my 4th company. But I know the customers, you know, I know the ins and out. I can look at the load board and figure out who the customer is, just like at Schneider. You know, you can kind of figure out after a while who the customers are when you see the loads on the load board. You know, if I see a load, when I was at Schneider, if I saw a load coming out of Dallas, it was one of 3 people, 3 customers, if it was coming to Missouri. So knowing your area and knowing the customers allows you to be more efficient, and then you can book a little bit tighter when you know that the customer's going to get you loaded quickly, or you know that it's first come first serve even though it's not listed that way, you know, that kind of thing. Ghost Rider, what's up? Alex Express checking in. Yeah, Screaming Demon, and that's one of the things I've done. I've got brokers calling me now. I've bragged about that quite a bit. The broker that I did the load for today, or delivered this morning for, they were just ecstatic that I emailed them when I was empty. And the broker that I'm under now, they were like, wow, it was good talking to you. You know, I guess a lot of people give brokers a lot of grief, and there are good reasons for that. However, think about how many jaded, ticked off drivers they talk to a day. So when they come across someone that's pleasant or easy to work with, that's probably a breath of fresh air for them. And that's huge in business. And so, you know, what did Jeff say? He retracted his statement. So if you can net 500, 700 a day, Monday through Friday, that's 2,500, 3,500 net and home on weekends. Right. And that's kind of the way that Roscoe, we have to differentiate the 2 Jameses now. You got Roscoe, which is James Best, and you got James G. So that's how we're going to differentiate. This is official Like Trucking announcement. We will now refer to James Best as Roscoe when we're in a live feed. We got to address the Jameses. One's going to be Roscoe and the other one's going to be James. That way we're not all confused. But Jeff says that exactly. So if you can net I'll read it again. If you can net 500 to 700 a day, that's net. That's after fuel, after percentage, everything else. That's 2,500 to 3,500 net and home on weekends. That is a lot better than what I did at Big Orange. Natas, what's up? Send me some of your brokers, Snore. Alex, I'd be happy to. I had a call after I booked the load I took down to Bentonville yesterday. The broker called me and goes, you got any other trucks in the area? Because we got 3 more of these loads. And I was like, nope, there's only 7 of us and we're all kind of spread out everywhere. You know, but you advanced guys and Alex Express, I'll share my broker information with you. Roscoe Coltrane. All right, Alex. Hey, Jeff, just send Alex's number to me. You can text it to me. So, but yeah, I'll help people out that are, if you're in Springfield area, if you're within a 150-mile radius of this area, man, I'll point you in the right direction. You know, I'll point all the light guys in this direction. There's an email I get from one of the brokers that they have stuff nationwide. I can, you know, email everybody. What's my favorite car? The one that doesn't get in my way. Oh no, your APU's down, Harold. I'm considering doing my own dispatching, but kind of scared to step out that way yet, afraid of failing. Archie Davenport, I know a person that can help dispatch you. Like, she can look at your stuff as kind of like a extra set of eyes. So that might be an option. But you know, it's funny, you know, I spent many years going, man, I could dispatch my truck better than my dispatcher ever could. And then when I went to Lancer, I was like, whoa, yeah, I had to eat a little crow. It's not that easy, especially if you want to make money. And it's definitely a lot easier with drop and hook accounts. So, but what you need to do, Archie, is to give yourself a cushion. Like, if you have a bad day, or you pick a bad load, or something like that, it won't put you in the hole financially. That's kind of, you know, like if you got a high truck payment per week, there's almost no room for error. You know, if you're booking nothing but long loads and you book 2 or 3 in advance, and one of them falls off, then you either got to tick off the other brokers, or you got to deadhead quite a ways. That's the other reason where short game is really good. When I was in Bentonville, if I couldn't find anything, I knew I'd find something out of Springfield. So it would have been round trip money, but it was still okay money. I'm hoping it cools off now that sun is down. I can shut it off. I hate to idle more than I love chicken. Would you hook me up with some brokers? I'm going to be running the boards in a month or so. Yeah, Ghost Rider, sure. You know, Big Rich has Big Rich trucker. He has a really good philosophy. He wants to help everybody out. He wants to help everyone succeed. Jeff is the same way. Jeff wants us all to be better at dispatching. He wants all truck drivers to be better at business, because the better that we all are at trucking and business, the better the industry becomes. You know, everybody says, oh, there's no more fun in trucking. Well, if we were all successful and doing well and making money, then it would be fun again. Yeah, a lot of loads out of Joplin, and I think that's only 45 miles from Miami, Oklahoma. A lot of stuff coming out of Neosho, CPAP. There's a lot of Neosho to Ohio, a lot of Neosho to Virginia. You know, your fixed costs on my truck is $14.50 a week, and I'm trying to make sure I can build up an account for rainy days. Wow, that's a lot. Get your numbers, costs, add profits, set your rates, day rate per mile on 3 to 550, and a rate for long haul. Then that's it. You have your lanes and run. Now call those brokers you're using. Pit Rider's heading to Tulsa. I was in Tulsa earlier this week. Yeah, Big Rich is pretty smart, and he, you know, perfect example, right? Big Rich called me just out of the blue. And he goes, "Hey man, I want to, here's a line that you need to start telling the brokers." And it was about capacity, about how capacity has been lower. It's been trending in our direction for the last several months, and that historically shows that rates are about to hit the roof. Okay, so what he was telling me was, use that as leverage to the brokers. In other words, tell them, hey, you know what, take care of me now, and when everybody else is wanting $4 a mile, you know, I'll take care of you then. Oh, okay, Archie, that's a lot more manageable. It's not easy booking your own loads, but just keep at it until you understand the confidence of what you're doing. Fear has stopped more than people anything else. Right, Benjamin Duke. And you know, and like I said, I've been talking to my friend at Schneider, and he's doing well. He's doing really good. And he is taking to it like fish to water, and he is doing better than most of the Schneider ICs. Because he has the right attitude, he has the right mentality, and he is loving this book your own stuff. And it helps that we live in a good area. That's a big part of it. LOL, I'm gonna want $4 too, LOL. I can get 5, please. Do I hear 5? Right? You're thinking about buying a new Schneider truck? Like a Schneider finance truck, Alex? Brokers don't care about our stats. Some care, but most lowball you. Well, yeah, I mean, their business, they're wanting to make their money too. I mean, look at the situation that you all got, that maybe some of you saw on the rate per miles page about that Alaska load. Look how much that got cut. It went from 14,000 to 8,000 between the original person, the original shipper, and the final third-party broker that booked that had that load. That's almost half. Right, Archie says I've been getting real good rates out of Nashville, so I've been keeping my truck mostly down there. And that's what you do, man. If an area is hot, run it. You know. If an area is cold, don't run it. Like, you know, one of the guys at Advance was telling me how bad Indianapolis is right now. And there was a time where that was the place to be. You wanted to be in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. You know. Air Vaquero, I'm at this truck stop here where there was a stabbing last month between two travelers, hitchhikers that were drunk. They got in a fight. One stabbed the other. It was funny that there was comments on that post, the local paper, and they're like, "That's why they shouldn't sell knives at truck stops because of stuff like this." I'm like, are you kidding me? We won't even go into that discussion. 0 to 6K money down on new Schneider truck. Why do you want a Schneider? Alex, you got your own authority, don't you? Why would you want a Schneider truck? The best thing, all right, Benjamin, I like this. The best thing that helps is to understand it's okay to say no. This is my rate. You're welcome to call me back. It's one load day out of what? 5,000 a day. Right. There are times when you're going to find the perfect load. And sometimes you just got to say no. The brokers that I have relationships with now, I've told them flat out no. Just, no, you're not. We're not in the same field here. We're not in the same ground, and they know that and they understand that. You know, we there's a few brokers that know that us light trucking guys don't roll for cheap, so they know not to even bother us with it. Pale Rider TV has a 2009 ProStar for sale. Spot market friendly, LOL. Sitting there right there in Little Rock, Arkansas. Alex, the biggest issue with SFI trucks are the weekly payments. It hinders your cash flow so bad, a slave to the weekly payment. That Harold, I'll agree to that. We were talking about that today. That why do lease companies have weekly payments? Because they want you to keep working. They don't want you to have these $1,000 a month truck payments where you can do 2 loads and then not work the rest of the month. That doesn't help them. So that weekly payment guarantees that you stay working. The thing with SFI trucks, says Juan, is that it's so easy to get your foot in the door if you don't have much money to start. It's the way I would start, and then I would get my own rig, just like James did. That's, okay, so let's talk about Schneider, okay, for a minute. Schneider Finance is an excellent way, and people are going to start throwing stuff at their phone when they hear this, to get started to a certain extent. If you have not very good credit, or if you don't have a ton of money for down payment, Schneider Finance will put you in a brand new truck. And then what the smart people do, not smart, let me rephrase that. What the business-minded people do is they realize that if they had lower costs, then they would net more. You follow me? Some adapt to the high payments and do very well at Schneider. Okay, they do very well with the Schneider Finance truck. All right. However, some sit there like, you know what? I'm tired of the weekly payment. I'm tired of the high payment. So I'm going to make adjustments and get my own truck. That's what Roscoe, almost called him the wrong name. That's what Roscoe did. That's what Berger did. Berger completed his lease. That's what he did. And the net numbers are way higher. In other words, if you gross $4,000 with the Schneider Finance truck, you're going to net about $2,000. If you gross $4,000 in your own truck, you're going to net about $3,000. All right, let's see here. How about Low Mountain trucks? I don't know anything about Low Mountain. The one who knows about Low Mountain is Russ Maynard. If he's in here, Russ got a truck from Low Mountain. He was a Schneider IC, completed his lease, and then went to Low Mountain to get his truck. I had them get mad, cussing to pressure me to take a bad rate for me. All kinds of reasons why I have to take it. I simply say, I don't know who that attitude works on. This is my rate, click, right? Rebel Trucker, Snyder 2016 Freightliner, no money down is how I started. I won't say I'm doing awesome, but I'm making good life and have money put away for when I do decide to buy my truck. There you go. The people that are doing well with Snyder Finance trucks, they're able to put money aside. Now, Rebel Trucker, I'm glad you brought that up. Another friend of mine, we're talking about this. There's too many people that enter the Snyder program that A, think they're going in knowing a lot because they watch us YouTubers. That's number one. Number two, they don't have patience. Why is Jeff called the Godfather? We gave him that name because he was the godfather of Snyder, because he knew every customer, every nook and cranny, every lane, because he had been there for so long. Now, why do I say that? You got guys that get a Snyder Finance truck, and within the first 2 weeks, they want to be home every other night. They want to be home every night. They want to be home every weekend. Not realizing that you have to learn your area. You have to learn the system. You have to build your way to that point of where it's easy to run your area to where you can get to that point. Does that make sense? And you have to have a little bit of patience. You have to have a little bit of sacrifice. Your family has to understand that that truck is what comes first. You know, to a certain extent, you know, family comes first. I get that, you know, and Snyder's really good family friendly. However, if I'm out an extra weekend, my wife understands that. My family understands that, because they'd rather have me out for a weekend than me be behind on the bills and not being able to pay them, not be able to make that truck payment, not be able to make that truck repair. So it takes a certain amount of sacrifice. It takes a certain amount of patience. Whether you're running the spot market, the Snyder low board, the Landstar low board, it takes a certain amount of patience to learn, to adapt, and overcome. That's it. If running between St. Louis and Columbus doesn't work out for you, then run from Chicago to Charlotte. If that doesn't work, then you try running in and out of PA. You try bouncing around, or you go to Texas, bounce around there. Look at the rates in the different areas. Pick the loads that no one else wants to do. If you see a load going from, say, Oklahoma to Connecticut, and it's paying great, don't be afraid to do it. Because, you know, no one else wants to do it. That's probably why there's a better rate on that. Jordan Barber, what's up? We're still bidding on Hill Rider's truck. I wouldn't complete the lease, maybe go 3 to 6 months max and just pay the fine to get out from under it. James and the MIP paid $1,500 to get out. Well, that's a good strategy. Diesel's enjoying this conversation. That's cool. Excellent. Benjamin says, when they get mad, tell them there are 1,000 loads in the area. One will have my rate. It's confidence in yourself and your understanding of the numbers. It sounds simple after you do it. It is. It really is. I had that mindset. I need to be home any chance I could. but sitting at home wasn't going to help my business. Okay, so here's another problem, Archie, that a lot of drivers run into. When you're working off a low board, you get all this freedom, right? You're the kid in the candy store. You're the teenager with the parents out of the house. And a lot of them can't handle that responsibility. So what happens? You go home too much. Just because you have freedom and choice doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard. My friend that is killing it at Schneider, he works hard. Now, is he working harder than he did when he was on mileage percentage with another mileage rate when he was with another company? No. However, he's got a good work ethic. He knows when to run and he knows when it's time to be home. And that's the key, is finding that balance. And so you have to adjust your business to create that balance. If you have high gross numbers but not very high net, that number is not going to help you get home. The more successful you are, the more freedom you have. Plain and simple as that. The more, let me say that again. The more successful you are, the more freedom you have. The more on top of the numbers and the ability to play the game and to bounce back from mistakes and issues that happen with the truck, the more freedom you have. I was down for a month. Do you know how long it took me to recoup? Within a week, man, I was in business. Because I've adjusted my business to keep the least amount of risk possible. If Jeff decides to say, Steve, sayonara, I don't like you anymore, I could easily park this trailer and go back to Schneider and make the money I need. Still paying for the trailer. That's how I've adjusted my business. Could I do that if my truck payment was $3,500 a month? No, and I was almost there. I almost took a Schneider Finance truck. I almost bought a brand new truck at the dealership. And I know that circumstances would have been a lot different when I hurt my leg or when my clutch went out. Being home every day or every other day can happen if you're in a good area, but I wouldn't advise it because you can make so much more if you stay out. Right, Rebel Trucker, what point I'm making is you have to work your way up to that, depending on your area. But I agree. You're leaving a lot of money on the table if you're trying to be home every other night. You know, if you want to be an owner-operator and be home every night, you want to work for the spot market and find the contract freight or the local carrier that will let you do power only to get that. You can take off when you can afford to. It's that simple. If you don't have it saved up to take off, you got to regroup. That's simple, right? Rebel Trucker, it's easy for me to say that because I have the woman and the dogs with me, no house or kids. There you go. So that goes back to what I was saying. Your net, your cost per mile is pretty low then. If you don't have rent, house bills and all that stuff. See, a lot of people don't realize that your cost per mile, you got to put in the house bills, you got to put in the health insurance, you got to put in the car payments and the trailer pay, the travel trailer payments, and you got to factor all that into your costs. It's not just the truck. More power means more responsibility. You're right, CPAP. Screaming even says, that's what I tell the guys that want to jump from company and owner operator. You have to put the work into making it a success. And you know, I've talked to a lot of Schneider company drivers that, like one guy said, yeah, I might become an IC when they force me to have an automatic truck. What? Yeah, I'm only going to be driving a truck for another year, but I was thinking about going IC just so I can make a little bit more money. What? Yeah, I don't like the color of my truck, so I think if I become an IC, I can have the color I want. A lot of people make the decision to get their own truck for the wrong reasons. I made that choice for freedom. And then I learned the hard way that freedom comes with a price. Freedom comes with the cost. Was it nice that I didn't have to call a dispatcher and tell them I needed to be home? Yes. But I had to work my way up to that. And you know what, guys? I have never, in the 10 years I've been driving, I have never been out more than a month at a time. That's it. I've never been out more than a month. Because I chose the right company when I was a company guy. I was nice to my dispatchers and load planners, that when I needed them, they were there for me. And when they needed me, I was there for them. So as a company driver, I was never out more than 3 weeks. Same thing with Schneider. When I was at Schneider, I didn't call my BOA very often unless there was an actual problem. I kept the griping about the trailer pull and the maintenance and everything else. I kept that down to a minimum. I did not rock the boat. I stayed under the radar. And I followed the rules. And here, I'm being careful not to tick off the brokers. I'm being careful not to be rude, even if they're rude to me. And when I call them and they try to lowball me a rate, I don't yell at them. I don't laugh at them. I just like, okay, have a good day. Because eventually they'll learn that when Like Trucking calls you, hey, what's your MC number? And I tell them, yeah, we're not going to be able to get anything out of this, so we're not even going to waste your time. That's how we want to be known. Not they'll run stuff for 90 cents a mile. We don't want to be in that crowd. We're still bartering with Pale Rider's truck. Alex says, my Swift truck has no more extended warranties. I drove 300K and expired my warranty too fast. Alex, I know a couple of people have done that. That's probably the good aspect of Schneider Finance. If you get a Schneider Finance truck for a 3-year lease and it's got a 500,000 mile warranty on everything, run the crap out of that truck and then just trade it in and use the warranty to your advantage. That way, the only thing that truck costs is downtime and maintenance. I know there's always risk in this business. I'm just learning when to take the risk or be patient, says Archie. Thanks for the compliment on the beard. Yeah. You know, there are guys out here that have got second mortgages to get their truck. I don't recommend doing that. You have to put yourself in a position that if the trucking business fails, they can't take your house and cars away. They can't break you. The less risk you have, the more comfortable you will be. And the way I've got things set up, the only thing that could really happen is my credit will get dinged. And we're not the kind of people that goes out and buys new cars and all that kind of stuff anyways. Most of the debt we have is business related. And our mortgage, that's it. Johnny Sacco, what's up? Thank you, Brian Garner. And guys, we were talking about attitude, right? Attitude is everything. Attitude is so much, man. We can talk numbers and net and gross all freaking day. But if you don't have the right attitude, it's not going to work. You know how many company drivers I know that have crappy attitudes? Then they wonder why they get the crappy trucks, the crappy runs, the low paying miles. It's because of their attitude. You got to find the right, okay, for those of you watching this that are new to this industry, you got to find the right balance of a good attitude, but not to be run over either. In other words, you don't want to be a pushover, but you don't want to have like, you don't want to be so jaded that everybody hates dealing with you. You know, I remember one time at a company I was at, we had the safety meeting. They had like donuts and milk, you know, they had treats. And the first thing out of this driver's mouth was like, look how cheap they are. They couldn't even get us Krispy Kreme donuts. I hate these trucks. They're so stupid. I don't know why they govern them. You know, it's just like, dude, they just handed you the keys to a $160,000 vehicle and you're gonna bitch about it? That's why your life sucks. That's why you hate trucking. That's why you hate people, because of your attitude. And I just laugh at these people because you are your own worst enemy. Like the trolls that come into the channel. You have to be miserable to deal with that. Misery loves company. You know how many times I went into an OC or a break room somewhere and all I hear is blah, 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 you know? And I'm just like, I'm doing just fine. I'm doing all right. You know why? Because if I find a trailer with a flat tire, no big deal. It's part of the necessary evil of dealing with Schneider's huge trailer pool that makes it really easy to self-dispatch. There's a lot of people at Schneider that don't know how good they have it. And then they switch companies and they go, oh crap, it was easy at Schneider. Oh yeah. So all the stuff you were griping about now suddenly seems insignificant. And I tell people, I didn't leave Schneider because I hated Schneider. I left Schneider because I had more opportunity here with Jeff. And I am under the best mentor that you could have in this business. Who wouldn't want that opportunity? And as I go along, like my first week, yeah, I was like, oh man, what did I do? You know? And there's a couple of you Schneider guys that have switched that had the same thought. Admit it. But if you have the right attitude, you persevere, you overcome that, and guess what? Within a month, you're mastering dealing with those brokers. You're mastering how to self-dispatch and how to run your area, run your lanes, get the rate that you want. And the next thing you know, you're looking at your bottom line, you're like, holy crap, I'm doing pretty good. Pale Rider. Pale Rider says he wants to become a Snyder IC because he wants a stereo in his truck. I've tried to convince Pale Rider to go over to Snyder, but he won't do it. Harold says, this boombox sucks. The CDs keep skipping when I hit bumps. Guys, you don't need CDs anymore. I love music collecting. I love buying physical copies of CDs and vinyl. But, you know, in a vehicle, Spotify Premium is the way to go. Because every album that's ever been made is pretty much on that service. And if it's not there, it's on iTunes. iTunes for you Apple guys. Man, I'm really behind on comments. Steve took the opportunity, but he's putting in the work to make himself a good independent trucker. Thank you, Screaming Demon. And it is. It's a lot of work, you know? And I could have easily called Jeff and said, dude, I need help, man. Just dispatch me for the next week so I get some money out. But how would I learn if he did that? How would I learn to, like, if if I only just wanted to use one broker, I wouldn't know how to master talking with other brokers. If I wanted to just do nothing but Uber freight, then I won't know what other brokers have, what other freight is in my area. I wouldn't develop the relationships I have. And Jeff would have been extremely willing to just, all right, Steve, here's 4 loads, go to work. You know, he would have loved to have done that. But he also would want me to learn. He would also want me, like, pretty soon you gotta spread your wings, my son, spread your wings. And so luckily I was set up decently to where when I stumbled a few times, when I only had like a $300 day, it didn't hurt as much. And just when I was getting my groove, I hurt my foot. And then next thing you know, the market had changed. When I came back, I was like, holy crap. So I made my adjustments. I figured out who had what, you know, and pretty soon I set myself up for one of my best weeks. When am I getting my full authority, Alex? That is not my cards right now. I know that Jeff says it's easy. I know that Shooter McGavin says it's easy. But I am just fine with what I'm doing now. If a situation arises where I have to, then I know I've got the tools and the mentors to help me get to that point. But for now, my goal is to help Jeff build his company. Rick Jones, what's up? Napster, is Napster still around? Freeland was kicked off the Road Dogg channel. Was that permanent, Pale Rider? Archie, I was the same way, but in order to know good, you have to do it. Some people that put videos are out in it for the referral, not to help other people. Hello, Nothing Witty. Now, I will say this. You can watch all the YouTube videos you want. You can sit there and just put Jeff's videos in a loop from when he first started YouTube to what he does now, okay? You can listen to Kevin Rutherford. You can listen to Kenny Long. You can listen to other people that think they're experts, okay? You can listen to 100 different drivers on the way they run their business, the way they do things. But that'll help you. But the best preparation for this is just to do it. You have to dive in the water. That's how you learn. You can sit there and watch all the Schneider videos you want. You can watch all the Jeffs and the Bergers and the you know, me's and all the people that ran at Schneider. But until you actually start the keys on your own truck and look at that load board on your own on what you need, you're never going to learn. You might go in there with confidence, but you know, and I did when I first became an operator. I was like, I'm confident, yay! Man, I felt like I was in a boxing ring and I was in round 3 and I was knocked out. Well, that was a mistake. Okay, running that load was a mistake. Holy crap, I made $100 on that load. Oh my gosh. Hey, here's an agent that's got everything. Cool, I'm getting better. I went to my cabs class at Landstar. Oh wow, I'm getting better. Cool, I've got a strategy. Hey, you know that strategy? Throw it out the window, because we're changing things. We're doing something different. Your agents are going to lose their freight. Rates are going to hit a bottom. How are you going to deal with that, Steve? You know, and it's constant. Boom, 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 boom. And this has been relatively easy compared to that. But, you know, those times at Landstar, I learned a lot about myself, about trucking, about my truck, about decisions I made, and about arrogance, about humility. And it's through those struggles I became a better driver. It is through my attitude that I made the right friends, like Jeff. Right? And then I went to Schneider, and I learned a lot there too. And then I came over here, and I've learned a lot here, and I'm still learning. I'm learning every single day. But you know what? Every time the email goes off and there's a settlement in the email, it's worth it. The fact that I'm going to go home this weekend and I'm not worried about it, it's worth it. And you almost have to live, for those of you in the spot market, you almost have to live, eat, and breathe this stuff. You have to live, eat, and breathe, and swim in numbers. And you almost have to become obsessive about it. And that's really weird for me, because I'm a metalhead. I love playing music, right? But music's been the furthest thing from my mind for the last several months. Now, we still got a band. I still like to play. I picked up the guitar last time I was home. However, it's when I go to bed, man, numbers are swimming, you know, I'm thinking about strategies, you know, and when I have phone conversation with my friends, very rarely are we talking about something that's not trucking related. And that's why you have to have a certain passion for trucking, a certain like for trucking, because if you hate trucking, then this is just going to be all the more harder. I had someone in orientation that got a brand new truck that kept breaking down. They couldn't make any money. Had to leave. That's why I save some money before you start, Archie. Yeah, but I also know that Schneider Finance is pretty good about, you know, if you hit a certain point, they'll put you in a different truck. We're talking about polka music for some reason. The market is in an upswing. You can make mistakes to a degree now. Last year, this time, no room for error. So save, save, save. The number changed load to load, day to day, week to week. There you go, Benjamin. If you don't want to do the feast or famine cycle, then like Roscoe, he's pretty good about saving a lot of money from his profit. And the true test of a business is how successful are you when times are tough. Anybody can make this work if it's $3 a mile all miles. Anybody. If you can do basic math and you're not a complete dumbass, anybody can succeed in trucking at $3 a mile. How successful are you when rates can't even get up to $2? And that was like that a couple of years ago. I was there. I lived it. There are loads coming out of Denver and Landstar that are 94 cents a mile to this day, right now, before Landstar's cut. How do you survive rates like that? That is the true test of someone being successful. When times get tough, tough times create strong men. Now we're talking about tacos. Adelborn, what's up? Woody is improving on guitar. I didn't know Woody played guitar. I don't follow Woody too often. Nothing against him, I just don't watch him. Are we really trucking LOL? Not really. It is messed up, Harold. Truckers YouTube info, what's up? I remember running for 80 without fuel surcharge and made money. Seen a lot of ups and downs in the 26 years owning trucks. Right. Jeff has lived through all of it. Jeff, you remember when the rates were hitting bottom. You know, remember when fuel was $4 a gallon everywhere? You lived it and you survived it, and look where you're at now. You know, I met so many owner-operators before I became a truck driver that just parked their trucks when fuel hit $2 a gallon. Well, can't make it work anymore. And you see the rattle trap trucks and you see the show quality trucks. What's the difference there? What is the difference? Your truck's cost change load to load, day to day, week to week. That's what I meant. Roscoe house debt is $2,400 a month. He's netting $3G a week. $12G, yeah, I can be home too. Right. And that's the thing. Okay, so Rich put up a post the other day. There was a load paying $1,900. It was heavy and 100 miles in the wrong direction. Okay. Then there was a load paying $1,500. That was, the deadhead was in the right direction, and it was like half the weight. And it was amazing to see how many people chose the $1,900 load, because, you know, it started argument. Everybody's always arguing, you know, and their thing is, well, the extra cost in fuel is not going to be more than $300, so you should take the $1,900 load. But when, like if you take a load from, say, Columbus to, or like, let's use Springfield, because I know Springfield. If you take a load from Springfield, Missouri to Mechanicsburg, PA, that's heavy, you're looking at $150 in tolls and about at least $600 in fuel, maybe $500. So you got higher fuel and higher tolls. But if you take the same amount of miles and, say, go from Springfield to, say, South Carolina, then it won't, you know, you save the money on tolls. If you do 2 loads that go from Springfield to Columbus, Columbus back to Springfield, same amount of miles, and it's heavy, it'll be cheaper because number 1, there's no tolls, and number 2, it's flat. From Columbus to St. Louis, it's flat. So when I did heavy loads, I did them on flat ground. Light loads take less fuel, less wear and tear on your shocks and tires, less wear and tear on your brakes in the long run. And that's a big part. So I forget who said that, but there's always an adjustment. Every single load is different. Every single load has its costs. Man, this live feed is off the hook. Jeff says in the 90s, mega carriers were paying 80 cents a mile and there was no such thing as fuel surcharge. Then in the early 2000s, rates tanked, fuel spiked, and then the formation of fuel surcharge, etc. Right, Screaming Demon. They don't think about the metrics before taking a load. Show truck owners broke because all his money's in the truck. Hog Rider, maybe, but like if you go to an actual truck show, most of those guys, those show trucks are an extension of the business. So those show trucks actually have a lot more write-offs. You know, they only use it for show. You know, they don't work it. You know, there are a lot of work show quality trucks, but like there's a truck pull in here with one of those 120-inch ARI sleepers, you know, so you know the freight that he takes has got to be a lot more selective, a lot better. And right now he's got a pickup truck and a city bus on his trailer, so I imagine that's paying pretty good. Sorry, I'm reading comments here. Cool Columbia has a load through Coyote. 1 pickup, 5 drops. Florida to Tennessee, 34.50 round trip, 7K weight. There you go, Cool Columbia. The money's out there, people. Multiple stop loads tend to pay more. That's what I figured out at Landstar. That's what I figured out at Schneider. That's what I figured out here. I haven't done any multiple stops here yet. But multiple stop firework loads this time of year, you can bank. You're gonna go in some weird places. You're gonna go to Joe Bob's, you know, fireworks shack in the middle of nowhere off of Highway 86. And you're gonna back into a field, but you know they pay good. The markup profit ratio of fireworks is phenomenal. My company one time sent me from Springfield to South Dakota and just deadheaded me back home. That's how well that load paid. It delivered on a Saturday. From this conversation, I take it that with the low rates in the 90s, it balanced out because of the peril cheap fuel. I know, I wasn't a driver back in the 90s. Oh, Screaming, that's funny. I've been pulling loads out of Port Huron, Michigan down to Nashville, Tennessee. Got it for $3.87 a mile, then running the board back out. There you go, Archie. We all have survival techniques. We all have ways that we run our business. Who's right and who's wrong just goes to the individual, you know? Just like a restaurant. You know, I was going through Bentonville, Arkansas today, and there's so many restaurants just on the road I was on. It's like, how do these restaurants stay in business with so much competition? And it's not too different than trucking. Everybody and their mother's got a truck out here. You're either buying it, leasing it, repairing it, building it, or driving it for somebody else. You have all that competition. Dry-van has the biggest competition because anybody can pull a dry-van. There's no extra skill set needed. That's why attitude is important, because, like I said, you can watch all the YouTube videos you want. You can run all the numbers you want. You can do math till you're blue in the face. And your face is the same color as Jeff's truck. But in the end, it's your attitude, perseverance, a little bit of faith, a little bit of patience that will get you through it. And you have to kind of like what you're doing. I get this sense of accomplishment every single time I book a load. It's awesome. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I get a similar sense of accomplishment when I deliver a load. That's what makes me happy to be a truck driver. Does it suck being away from the family? Yeah. Have I missed out on a few things? A little bit. But like I said, I've never been out more than a month at a time. And when I needed to be home, I've been there. Jeff says, I ran 2,800 miles a week in the 90s, and at 80 cents, that's $22.40 gross. Minus fuel, $400 for fuel, we netted $1,800 a week, LOL. Again, it's all math, you know. Archie, you gotta be able to take a joke. Archie says, I make enough money to be able to get two pairs of fingerless gloves. This trucking thing is getting serious. Oh man, I don't have the best attitude out here. I've had my moments. This steering wheel has seen my fists a couple of times. I've exploded, I've cursed, I've yelled at cars, I've flipped a couple of them off. But in the end, I don't dwell on it, and I get over it, and then I learn from it. I'm not perfect. I have absolutely no confidence in what I do. Harold says that's one of my faults. Harold's like, dude, put down on yourself. But guys, I'm just like you, man. I'm out here learning. You know, I'm learning just like everybody else in this live feed. And that's all we do. We learn from each other, we share info with each other, and then you use it to how you need it. That's all you can do. And I think it's interesting that my videos have titles, and then we end up going off on a topic for an hour that has nothing to do with the title. But hey, I'm ready for the homeless guy if he comes to attack me. Now, generally this place is pretty quiet. It was just a fluke that happened. Speaking of which, Harold had a really good video about guns and the laws and carry permit stuff. Harold's a smart dude. I'm glad he's here at Like Trucking. I think he's going to do well. He is doing well. What am I saying? He's doing better than me, actually. But in the 90s, I bought a brand new Ford L 9500, awesome truck for $85,000, including FTT. That's a good price, Jeff. Wow. And that you know, the cards are stacked against us, man. Trucks are more expensive, repairs are more expensive. You know, you can't just shade tree these trucks. You can't just put a turbo on, you know, if you got the right tools. You gotta have computers and calibrators and, you know, You know, fuel is higher, tolls are higher. There's a lot stacked up against you. And in the end, a lot of you Schneider guys are going to realize that you're not making much more than a company driver. So you have to ask yourself, am I here to make money or am I here for the freedom? Well, try to get a little bit of both. Have the freedom to do what you want, but still be able to keep your head above water and make above what a company driver makes. I wish we could go old school. Dude, I was parked next to an 86 International cab over today in Fayetteville. It was awesome. And it was a working truck. It wasn't a show truck. It was just it was a young dude too, a millennial. One of the millennials was driving it. Sean, what's up? Rebel Trucker asked Jeff, do you wish you started your authority earlier? I think he's answered that. I think he says yes. You traded the gun today at truck stop. You saw a cool CB radio wanted, even through some tube socks. That was like sold. Are you kidding, Harold? I hope you're kidding, dude. You ain't gonna be trading no gun for a CB radio, especially when I know what you paid for that gun. I don't care how many tube socks you got. You got gypped. You got gypped. Cali run. Kaislyn, you're working too hard, dude. Harold, I have 6 CB radios sitting at the house. I don't think any of them work, but I'll trade all of them for a gun. That gun you have, I'll trade all of them for that. I'll even come down to Georgia. I could easily get a load to Georgia. We'll wheel and deal. Tube socks and flip-flops. Yeah, I'm done being serious. Let's say stupid stuff now. Rebel, I wouldn't have met all these great people if I'm so glad the Big O sent that letter. Harold. Oh, stupid stuff. Snorler went to Georgia. He was looking for a deal. I get that music reference. You know, Jeff was testing me on music and he tried to throw some non-metal stuff. The only one I got wrong, I think, was Elvis. But that's only because I didn't recognize the song. And Elvis was using a particularly lower voice. They changed it to 2021 now. Guys, I ran into a Schneider IC in Ardmore. He's driving a 2003 Peterbilt 379. He does 2 loads a week in Oklahoma, and that's all he does. His truck's paid off. He calls it his semi-retirement. He can fix his own truck. If you ever deliver in Ardmore, you'll see the guy. It's a brown Peterbilt 379, and he started here in Springfield. He used to drive for a company out of here called RBX. That's how he got his truck, as a matter of fact. He's a cool, nice guy. He did a double take with my truck because he'd seen me with Schneider over there, and then he looked at my truck. We were parked next to each other, waiting for them to holler at us on the CB to tell us our doors, and I still have my Schneider numbers on the truck. You know, it still has that look and everything. And all us light guys have done that. And because all of us like trucking guys are ex-Schneider drivers. And Jeff. I'm gonna read that out loud, Jeff. But all Snorler found was Harold sitting by his fifth wheel playing his phone, hot looking for a load to steal. Oh man, there's a parody song in the works, right guys? When you say that owner operators can find themselves making as much money as company guys, please define company money, because when I was OTR company, I was making $350 to $450 a week. I doubt any owner operator is making that much. Oh, Kaislyn. Oh, man. Kaislyn's giving Harold a hard time. Can Harold even see over his fifth wheel? Yeah, it might be hard to spot, right? I'm sitting there like, where's Harold, man? I got my CB radios for that gun. Oh, man. Harold, you open that up. I was at Westside Transport, and they guaranteed $900 a week regional. Harold, you're not one of these guys that like idles his truck with the windows open because you're smoking a cigarette, are you? Cigarette smokers are funny people. They're gonna die of cancer. Never fails, man. I have my windows open, I'm enjoying the breeze, and then some guy parks next to me. He's like, windows are open, but he's still idling the truck. I'm like, dude, shut the truck off. How good's your air conditioning doing with your windows open, idiot? 90 in Denver. It's warm everywhere right now. Oh, you have a Striker 655 HP for the gun. Juan, you like my Pale Rider song? I don't know what made me think of that. It was just something. Yeah. It's just something goofy, man. You gotta be goofy out here sometimes. Sometimes you gotta have some fun. Remember the old days, you old schoolers on here, where you'd be in a pack of trucks and you all tear it up on the CB radio, and man, I miss those days. You know, now it's all like, oh, you gotta get on Zello. You gotta get on Zello. I still say Zello sucks. Just saying. Sorry, Daniel Adami. I know you got your Zello channel and you're happy with it, but yeah. Now, how many times have I been in that Zello channel? Once. Harold is gonna turn into Popeye. Harold, every time I talk to him, he's like munching, eating Popeyes. You're singing that song in traffic, Juan. Awesome. That, my friends, is what you call an earworm. EAD is the best lyrics. Air Vaquero. That's one of my favorite tunes. Oh man, I had a friend of mine that constantly said that when he got mad. He would tell somebody that EAD. So he goes, dude, you need to write a song like that. So I did. We were in this, Apnea was in the studio. I said, hey, told the drummer, just follow along with me and record this, and we'll just put it out there. And I did. And it was only for him. You know, that song wasn't really out there until I put it on YouTube and Facebook. Kaislyn says Harold needs to buy stock in Popeyes, or they need to ban you from them. You're eating them out of business. You should make your own riff and make it an intro for him. I could do that, Juan. The thing that ticks me off about Harold, this is what ticks me off about Harold. And I'll let this soak in, because Harold's like, oh my god, what do I do now, right? Have you guys watched one of Harold's videos? The dude's skinny. How can a skinny dude eat so much Popeyes and stay skinny? Meanwhile, I'm eating broccoli and cauliflower and unbreaded chicken, and I'm still a fat ass. How's that? Why is that, Harold? How is that possible? Why is that fair? That's not fair. I'll wait. You can answer that. The grease gives you... Dude, that's KFC all the way, man. You're 8 months pregnant. No, man, you got a tapeworm. You got a tapeworm. I know, Barb, we're just kind of joking around. Hey, by the way, everybody knows that Pale Rider, his favorite food is broccoli. And by the way, despite all the cool stuff we talked about tonight, this live feed's going to go private after we're done. Actually, gut. Okay, let's talk about that. Your gut really does have a lot to do with it. This is a really good book. It's by Carolyn O'Byrne. I had a nice long conversation with her last night because she wants to start a YouTube channel. So she was wanting some YouTube tips. I told her to call Pale Rider. But no, we talked a long time, but she says a lot of the bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut is the root of a lot of your health issues. Or one's health issues. And I still have these choir CDs. And there you go. So someone just texted me, said that I'm a dumbass. Again, it's someone that I've given my number to that I shouldn't have given it to him. If you don't like me, why are you watching me? I don't get it. Well, this video's over with. You guys take it easy. And looks like I'll be blocking a couple of numbers from my phone. So you guys take it easy and have a good night. Later.